Well, this is where I grew up, man. This was my home. This is where I got all my teaching stuff. Hi. Hello. That's my dad's helper. It's all from Eskasoni.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's from home.
Yep.
And when we built this in 2000, people were asking what we're doing. You know, when you get tired of explaining of what you're building, I said, "Did you guys know we won the Marshall Division? We're making a boat." Have a seat, Bill. Have a seat. Maybe you get some coffee and whatever. But everything you see in here came from everywhere where my parents have worked or been to or visited. Like this one here, I got that from Iqaluit, the kayak up there. This is, I believe, a drum from your region back in the day. Wow. The one up there in the corner, the Mi'kmaw drum.
Wow.
And I could be here all day mentioning where everything came from.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is cool.
And she was associate professor at the at the university here.
Oh yeah.
And the faculty gave her, my parents, the eel, because this was a very important.
Yeah.
It still is to our
Oh,
culture
yeah.
today,
Yeah.
right?
You're talking about Cape Breton University?
Yeah, CBU.
My daughter graduated out of there.
Ah,
With
nice.
an MBA.
Ah, awesome, man. That's good.
She's now one of the directors at the National Energy Energy Board. So, and she got appointed for a second term, the only one to do that. Mostly because her knowledge of Aboriginal and Treaty rights. I taught her well.
Oh, there you go.
I imagine some European or someone from other country was curious about Mi'kmaws, and they has no connection whatsoever. I'm sure he or she would assume that I would look at the architecture, what the Mi'kmaw village would look like, and I came to this conclusion that, let's say they get off at Yarmouth and they start driving around, and the only indicators they'll be looking for is some kind of a structure that's reflected to the Mi'kmaws. I know they can travel from one end of the province to the other to Glace Bay. They would not, if they don't meet somebody, because our communities are ignoring architecture. Why, I don't know. There's no structure here in Nova Scotia that's really reflective. Because we have this statement that says, your environment will provide you every need. Your dwelling, your food, your medicines, your education, and so on. And if that is the case, then why do we have to ship our lumber from BC or elsewhere? Why can't we use a local material like these young saplings? And by using the young saplings, you're actually managing your forest better, because more than likely these young saplings would fall on the wayside, allow the broodstock to mature to the air. Because you need the broodstock to generate the kind of a seed that you need. Seed that come from inferior tree will produce inferior tree. So digression keeps going. So being a friend with an architect, what can you do? So this is what we came up with. Bent wood with a little modern twist. I like the band.
Are they structural?
Yes. So this prototype, another community in mainland, Picture Landing outside of Nova Scotia, they actually built their health center for 10 or 12, 15,000 square feet of with this. You see, when we say an Aboriginal structure, it's not just the uniqueness of the design, but what will it do for the community? What will it? How will it help with the environment? For example, now the structures that we have now, you cannot use local labor too much. Outside contractors and outside material. But this way here, we can actually, we can buy a bandsaw or whatever we use. And the other thing I've learned is that once you mill a timber, you're changing the structure of it. This is much stronger than a 2x4, even if you laminate it. Have some tea, gentlemen. Changing. We're exerting our rights and challenging the government to prove to them that they have sovereignty. But how do you acquire sovereignty? Conquest or surrender? Which none of those took place. So, but they use a lot of this bullshit, excuse the pun, to distract the general public.
They've been bluffing their way
Yeah.
up until now.
Now, even here in Nova Scotia, across Canada, they've been saying this rhetoric that we are the wards a burden of the taxpayers. Now, out west they call it treaty money. Here they call it trust fund. Part of the agreement was everything that you're going to extract, we have to set some aside for the future. So, in my rough calculation, the funds that we get of the government do not come from the taxpayer. They actually come to interest from the trust fund that was established.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There is one. It's actually rather huge, but actually I would say that your rights really come because you actually still own all of the land.
Yeah.
They never bought any of it.
Yeah.
You know, and then here, according to the Royal Proclamation,
Yeah.
the only way a transfer can happen is if the federal government, only the federal government can buy it from you. And if they haven't done that,
Yeah.
all your rights are intact.
That's right.
And it's just that they've bullied us into this,
Yeah.
well, this concentration camp system where it's called reserves.
Between the government and
Yeah,
the churches.
but now we're because we got Section 35,
That's right.
and we can actually interpret what it means. Hey, we can pull ourselves out of this, make your own laws, do your own development yourselves, and
Yes. Now,
you know,
but
150 years of Ottawa should teach everybody that
now,
it doesn't work with them.
Now-
You got to do it yourself.
and the treaties we have is that there's a lot of parts missing. But we have a word for treaty, uncle.
Mhm.
And you can break that word down. If you were to come and live in my territory, my environment where I'm at, you are more than welcome. But these are the conditions that you must uphold. How do you know how we take care of our environment? You have to comply with that. If you don't, you better go back where you come from. So, first of all, in order for us to look after ourselves, meaning the natives and the non-natives, we have to work together, use the gifts that you brought forth, and use our gifts, so that we can better manage the environment, not only for this generation, but for the next 7 generations. But we have to acknowledge the translators of the day were from the government, and they made sure the translation went in favor of the oppressor. But if we were to take time and retranslate those treaties, we would know the actual spirit of those treaties. And I think the understanding will be much more clear. Because even myself, I only have grade 3 or 4 education. So I'm not too well versed in this English system. You know what I mean? But our young people are all on today, you know what I mean? And now, I'm very encouraged because these younger generations, I call it a silent revolution. It's not like the hippies or the, where they make an notoriety. They just plugging away slowly. And hopefully soon that they will also displace our agents of the crown, the chief and councils.
Yep. You got that.
But anyway, I don't know how many people can see that, not just because Albert J is my son, but the decision on that to me is paramount. Because what I'm reading from that is that anything and everything that's not illegal. We have a legal and a constitutional prerogative to take it as to how we go about sustaining ourselves. Now I don't know how much power that the province has, even though they are the
They have none.
Yeah, okay.
Zero.
Compared to your position, they're only a administrative unit of the federal government.
Yes.
So they're not a state.
No.
They can't make treaties.
No. No, that's
So
right. We're the only group of people here that has a special relationship to the land through treaty and Aboriginal rights. We're the only group. There's nobody else in Canada, even the Prime Minister, cannot take the government to court for misusing the land, but we can.
you still own all the land and the resources.
And the resources, yes.
Yep. And,
And
they've
I never-
been stealing them from you.
And I
but,
never bought that shit there, decked up the plow.
You own it further down than that. I don't- the thing is, they have no right to interpret your treaties in in a way that only suits them.
Yes.
Your treaties are what you always had.
That's a sacred.
Yep.
That's a sacred trust.
Yep, it's only like a friendship, initial friendship arrangement,
How
because
to
you
co-
never dealt with anything else in there.
How to coexist with each other.
It's
Well,
it's
we
an
gotta-
introduction
we-
to our
We
inherent
can't
rights.
sit right now, according to the Indian Act, we're subhumans to the European.
Mr. Riley, I'd like to get your opinion. Why isn't Indian Act being scrapped?
Because they need the racist aspects of it to claim the benefit of all the resources. It's all about the resources,
Okay.
and that's why they're fighting like hell to not to change the Indian Act, And if they want to keep it, get rid of all the racism,
But
and you can use it as a funding document, and that's all it needs to be.
but as a layperson, though, do we need that interpretation of theirs?
No.
I think we should scrap
I
the
can
treaty.
I can give you the accurate interpretation of Aboriginal and Treaty rights.
Yes.
And they're scared as hell of me coming into court right now.
Yes.
I'm supposed to go to maybe 8 different court hearings, and because I want to give an interpretation of Aboriginal treaty rights.
From our
Like that.
perspective.
Yeah. Well, they didn't give me anything in there. The only reason they agreed to those sections was because I had an international office opened up in England, and
Okay.
I was lobbying around the world.
Wow.
And oh no, I didn't listen to them. And finally, Gretchen comes to me and he says, "Mr. Riley, come down the hall with me." I was in the Parliament, arguing in the committee rooms, and Gretchen comes to me and he says, "Mr. Riley,
Right.
I need to talk to you."
Do you want Mr. Riley on the
Yeah, I'll just have a little bit of cream in it. And he says, "If you will close your office in England, we will give you your Aboriginal and Treaty rights protection." So I said, "Shake it, shake." And to me, that's when the obligation of the Crown
That's binding.
came to us, and it was for real. He obligated them,
Mm-hmm.
and only to our interpretations.
That's right.
They can't interpret what we have there. That's why it's important for me to come in and give an interpretation of Aboriginal treaty rights.
Now,
But it seems every time I come near a court, they drop all the charges.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
now, how would you interpret the second raid by Amonis? How would you interpret that?
The what?
My second visit from them when they took my
Second-
product again.
It was
Oh,
Robbery. Second
that
robbery.
was they breached Section 89 because they stole your property, and they also breached their fiduciary obligation to you. Like Indian Affairs, they also have a fiduciary obligation to you because they were the first force that ever had to deal with us.
Mm.
So yeah, you could sue them, and whatever you determined as your losses from when that happened to now is what you'd get, and I'd say you'd win.
Mhm. Well, that's the next step we're gonna
Yeah,
tackle, I guess. Well, along with if there's any
Well,
charges to
line
come-
me up as an expert witness.
Oh, of course, Del.
But they never. You haven't been charged.
I haven't been charged yet.
Oh, you haven't.
So they just stole your stuff.
That's theft.
Yeah, it
That's
is
just
theft.
outright theft.
And they threatened to kick his door down too, or
Yeah.
something. Eh?
Yeah,
If
tried to
you
kick
didn't
my
open
door
the
down.
Press charges again.
Oh,
And
gee.
she accepted it.
Well, then start to give it to local MP, and make sure it send it to the minister.
Give one to Jaime.
Any of the ministers that are involved.
He's a
in it.
federal MP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should give one to Jaime, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.